Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Brumfield, and I am the Career Services Specialist at the Colorado School of Public Health. And today I have Katie Murray here, who graduated from our school in 2017 with her Master's in Public Health in Animals, People, and Environment at our CSU campus. Hi, Katie.
Hello.
First, I just want to start out. Could you tell us currently what you're doing and what a typical day looks like for what you're currently doing?
Yeah, so I'm currently a veterinary student. I was accepted to St. George's University on the island of Grenada in the Caribbean. And right now I'm actually finishing my clinical rotations at Oregon State University in Corvallis. So a typical day for me involves working in the hospital. We've been really lucky to be able to continue to do that and to serve our patients and clients during this pandemic. So depending on the rotation that you're in, days can last anywhere from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. And sometimes you'll get some rotations that are overnight, but you'll have a mix of large animal and small animal experience. So that's something that I really enjoy, is kind of the mixture of the different species that you can see.
Very cool. Could you talk about how you got to veterinarian school? First starting with your MPH degree and then getting accepted to veterinarian school.
Yeah, so I was kind of a non-traditional student. I did the typical undergrad, experience. I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo out of high school, and I loved that. I got a degree in animal science. But afterwards, I was working in a vet hospital and wasn't really pursuing my dream, I guess, to kind of be a veterinarian. And I really was trying to find something that would integrate human and animal health in a sense, because I had a passion for both people and animals. And one day we got this free magazine. It's called like DVM 360, and it talked about the MPH degree and public health. And it was basically like a light bulb moment for me. It was, aha, this is something that I can do that can integrate both of these interests to help people and animals. So I found out about the Colorado School of Public Health, and I applied, and I was so blessed to be accepted, because that was really a turning point in my life. So I started there, and I did the Animals, People, and the Environment concentration. And my friends all make fun of me because they always say that I start my stories with, in Colorado we got to do this or that. It's always about the great experiences that I had. I love that we were kind of at an intersection of so many different agencies. There was CDC, USDA, there was all sorts of just really cool public health opportunities. So I was able to pursue that degree, the MPH, and then I was lucky to be accepted to veterinary school. So that's kind of where I've been now the last 4 years, and that's what I'm hoping to graduate in June.
And what was the application process like for veterinarian school?
So veterinary school is pretty intensive in terms of the way that you have to do your applications. They used to do kind of a long personal statement, and I think that sort of got tedious because people sort of ramble. So what they ended up doing now is they have vignettes. So they'll ask you little small essay prompts about certain topics. But when I did it, you have to take your GRE, and I actually had to take it twice because mine was about a month away from expiring. And so, non-traditional student, it had been a while. So I had to retake that. Luckily, Colorado State had a GRE study course that I was able to take, and that really helped. And then you, Katie, actually were super helpful to sit down and kind of discuss potential interview questions and how to respond to that. And I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to vet school, because a lot of it's by numbers. And so if you're lucky enough to get an interview, that's when you really have to shine. Because they kind of just are very formulaic. And if you're lucky enough to get that in, that's when you need to make your mark. And so you were super helpful with that, kind of going through different questions, how I can respond kind of the best way and not do what I typically do, which is kind of ramble.
And how many times or how long did the process last you, and how many times did you have to apply?
Yeah, so typically I think the applications open in the beginning of summer, usually May or June, and then they'll go till September. And you usually don't start finding out if you've gotten any interviews maybe around January or February. And then April 15th, like tax day, is usually their hard deadline of telling you you've been accepted. So for me, I actually applied multiple times because vet school is very competitive. So I applied after undergrad, and then I applied immediately after vet school. And so I had applied, I think 3 times by the time I was offered an admission seat.
Third time's a charm.
Third time is the charm.
I remember working with you and I admired so much your determination, and you knew that this was the right career for you and you did not give up. And I loved that.
Thank you.
Because if you get denied first, it doesn't mean you can't reapply.
Definitely you get used to being comfortable with failure. And I think that was something that really set me apart from other vet students, is a lot of them have been, straight K through 12, undergrad to vet school, and they've never experienced failure. So they get that first B and it's crushing for them. Whereas I'm like, cool, we're doing it. So, getting an MPH beforehand really kind of solidified like, oh, this is what real world life experience is like. And, failure and success are measured a little bit differently.
Yeah. How would you say the Colorado School of Public Health really helped you prepare for veterinarian school?
Oh my God, in so many ways. It helped open the door to so many different career options that I didn't even know existed. I met so many incredible people. There's so many cool clubs at the Colorado State campus that I was able to be a part of and to get to be exposed to different wet labs. I got to do like a wildlife wet lab where we got to learn how to dart like dummies, but we got to learn to use a dart gun, and that's something that you would do out in a field as a veterinarian, which I thought was amazing. At Anschutz, we had some awesome conferences that we were able to go to about infectious diseases. And then I even took some classes at UNC, and that was really helpful because they had a much smaller cohort, and I loved that about them, that they were so connected and really unified. And that was just like, wow, this is a cool environment to be in.
Yeah, I like how each of our campuses has a different feel. How do you plan to use your MPH degree when you become a veterinarian?
Yeah, so right now in vet school, we are working on taking some courses to become certified, USDA certified veterinarians so that we can sign off on health certificates and that sort of thing. And then ultimately, I would long-term like to work for an agency like the USDA or the CDC, doing some type of public health work. I was really fortunate to be able to do an externship this last fall with USDA in Fort Collins. And I wasn't able to do it in person, obviously, because of COVID, but I was able to do it online. It's the CIA department, so it's the Center for Emerging Animal Diseases and Health. And what I really loved about it was that there was just so many different things that they did. They were tracking swine, African swine fever. They were tracking influenza, basically just any kind of disease that was sort of emerging that could be a threat either to animal or human populations. They were kind of dialed into it, and I loved that about them. So that's definitely something I'm interested in pursuing in the future.
Very cool. So how has COVID-19 impacted your schooling?
Yeah, so my school at Oregon State for clinical year, we've been really fortunate that they've been able to continue and serve the community. They are one of the only large animal emergency veterinarians in the area. So we were really lucky that we're still able to take patients and see clients. So we've still been doing a lot of rotations. It's just been smaller numbers. If we've had the opportunity to switch things to maybe an online modality, we've done that just to limit the number of people in the hospital. But I'm really grateful for the in-person experience because I know a lot of my classmates at different universities have been mostly online, and it's very hard to be a veterinarian, on Zoom.
Yeah. What's your favorite animal to work with?
I've really enjoyed the alpacas and the llamas. So Oregon State is really unique in that they have a really good camelid medicine program. And so I was lucky to get to do 2 weeks of a rotation for that as an elective. Unfortunately, we had some fires going on at the time, so the air quality was terrible. But when we finally got to go out on the farm, it was so much fun, and I learned so much.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Can you tell us like a really cool experience you've had since being in veterinarian school?
Yeah, I think probably my favorite is just when you get, I really like emergency. And so I think when you get patients that come in that are kind of critical and you're really concerned about them, best example I can give is we have what they call dummy foals. So a lot of times when you have a difficult birth with horses, the babies can be really kind of slow to get up, to eat. And so if they don't nurse and get up, they often can die. And so we had one that was brought in because she was a dummy foal because the mother had a difficult birth, and just literally working with her, nursing her every hour, giving her milk, tube feeding her, getting her to stand so she didn't get bed sores. It was like around the clock for several days. And eventually by the end, she was running around and she was a normal foal again. And so that was really rewarding to see, because if we hadn't had that intervention, she probably would have passed away.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was probably my favorite one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. What advice would you have for someone that is in an MPH program and wants to go to veterinarian school?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing I would say is say yes to everything. I know that's kind of cliche, but I did that. I took advantage of all the opportunities that grad school gave me. And I'm really glad that I did, because it was such a wealth of experiences that I was able to carry with me to vet school. And then the second I would say is don't give up. And like I said before, be comfortable with failure. You know, the way that the real world is, and that's kind of what I love about MPH. Yes, you're still in grad school, but you're doing it in a way that is kind of preparing you to be, yes, a jack of all trades, but it's not just an educational degree. It's not just an MS. It's an MPH. It's a professional degree. And so get comfortable with failure. Get comfortable knowing that, you know, things are not always going to go your way, but keep persevering, and, you know, you'll make it eventually.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Katie.
No problem. Thank you.
Bye.